Welcome to day 11 of Solitude. I'm Catherine Nelson. So we're following up today. Yesterday was our focus on abundance versus scarcity and having that kind of an outlook when we're looking in our cupboards or looking on the shelves at stores, recognizing that we really do have a lot in this country and that if we look at it from that perspective, trying to see what we do have versus what we don't have, that often we can be really content with where we are and that feeds a sense of peace rather than anxiety. So when you look at the shelves at the store, we were asking you to really do that with a mindset that says, I'm okay, everything's fine, I will have what I need, other people will be willing to share, those types of things, and how much that brings us together as a community rather than pushing us apart. Today, I wanted to give you 3 core tips for communication. So the reason is I'm thinking day 11, you're probably, if you're in a household with other people, it's probably starting to feel a little tense. And all that time together can bring you closer, or it can really push the limits of what you can handle. So I tried to, obviously there's tons of communication skills and tips and techniques and so forth. I tried to just boil it down to 3 to cover today. So thinking about what's going on in your household, I thought one of the big, like number 1 tip would be try as best you can not to use the word you. So I hear this so often in doing counseling is people talking about conversations they've had with other people and saying, you need to, or you didn't do, or you blah, blah, blah. And I got to tell you, if you can imagine how that feels on the receiving end, it almost immediately brings up this visceral response that wants to defend and react and protect. So trying instead to come from a position of, I'm feeling, I'm curious about, I'm interested in, help me understand. That's one of my favorite phrases, help me understand. So trying to use that type of language that invites the other person to engage with you rather than really telling them that they need to protect themselves. Because when we come in with that you position, we're really basically setting up a very difficult dynamic that's going to kind of feel hostile. The second tip is really to be curious with each other. All your different family members, I don't care if it's an adult or a child, we have such a tendency to just go under all these assumptions based on past interactions, past behaviors, past conversations. And as a result, we don't leave room for people to be different or change or express themselves. And that nuanced aspect of how any given situation could bring out a different thought process, we want to invite that. We want to be present for that. And when we're curious with somebody, that really says, I want to get to know you more, rather than I already have all these preconceived ideas about who you are and how you think. And as a result, I'm going to go into this making all these assumptions. Instead, it's really being interested in how they're thinking, how they're feeling, how they're processing information, wanting to really build an understanding of this person. And trust me, when you have that mindset, when you have that attitude, it really, really comes through. So the third and final tip, and this is a little bit more involved, is to really, from a receiving end, to be very practiced in not personalizing. This is one of the things that I had to overcome in my own life, and I can tell you it's been one of the most helpful things, because when we don't personalize things that come at us, things can just roll off of us. We can hold everything so much more lightly, and we don't have to feel like life is about trying to control what we're receiving or trying to react to what we're receiving, but instead we can just move through it in a soft, thoughtful way. So the keys to not personalizing, I'm going to give you 2 different things. The first one is having, there's a concept called differentiation. And differentiation is about how you relate to other people. And it really focuses on that person's stuff, that meaning that how they communicate, how they interact, behave, that's about who they are. And they're doing that based on their life experiences, their beliefs, what they've been taught, what they've decided, all these different things that come into their world. and then that gets pushed onto you. So when we don't personalize, we give credit to the idea that this person has had all these other experiences and beliefs, and so what they're doing isn't really about me. It's actually about who they are, and it's more a projection of their whole life experiences onto me, and I can either be reactive to that and defensive with that and personalize that, or I can say, hey, that's how they see it, that's fine, it doesn't mean I have to do anything with that. I can literally internally just sort that out and be like, that's not something I need to respond to. That's something I can hold loosely. The other part of not personalizing is giving people the benefit of the doubt. So one of the reasons we tend to personalize is because we're not doing that. And benefit of the doubt is all about people's intention toward us. So if I'm giving somebody the benefit of the doubt, I believe that they have good intentions toward me. That doesn't mean they're always going to say things perfectly or never hurt my feelings, but it does mean that I can just hold what they're saying and give them a grain of salt and just be like soft and loose with it and recognize that their intentions toward me are good. And when I do that, then everything else can be much softer and easier. I hope these 3 tips are helpful for you, and I hope that you're able to really use and implement them today and practice them. And I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow for day 12.